Howdy folks, Effing Controller here, back with more Uncharted Waters, New Horizons, playing as Ali. We are here in the port of Athens, and we have some art that we just bought, which we cannot take back to Istanbul, per the rules of the challenge. If you missed the rules of the challenge, I guess I'll type them up and put them in the description of all these videos. So, the rule, though, is that I can't go back to ports that I've already been to trade in goods that I've already traded. So I can't go back to Istanbul and buy more carpet and bring it back here. Can't do any of that back and forth nonsense. We have to do a straight route through through a list of all of the trade goods in the game. There's about 46 of them, if I recall correctly. And I have to take this load of art to a new port. What will the new port be? Oh, I bet you guys are just on the edge of your seats. I think it's a cool idea. I don't know. This guy thinks we have the look of an unseasoned sailor. We are no salty tar in his eyes, but he's actually quite mistaken. I think I can buy a little bit. Yeah, we can buy 3 barrels of food and water. That'll give us 3 days of sailing. Not that we need too much more than 32 days, but we're not going altogether that far, but it is a little bit of a trip. Now, one of the things that derailed my playthrough on Twitch was encountering gentlemen such as Iden Lice in their Venetian galleass ships. They're terrible. Pirates are the worst. I happened to run into his cohort, I think his actual historic brother, Khayr Din, and forgot to save the game. So when I see Venetian galleasses like that, you might notice that I saved the game, and that's why. So I lost a lot of progress thanks to Khayr Din. So anyways, we're heading to the west here. The Mediterranean is actually really slow to sail through. As you can see, we were getting a little bit of a headwind there, but the wind speeds aren't that high, so watch out. Not that anybody's going to attack us this early in the game, but it's a good habit to be in to kind of dodge ships like that. But yeah, this is a very slow area to start. Wish I had something to talk about. I could talk about the idea for this. It was just, like I said before, you know, trading back and forth, I don't know how I would make that interesting for you guys to watch. Just going between 2 ports until I get a certain amount of money, I'm sure I would just edit it, but I figured that doing it this way would, first of all, be more of a challenge to me, and it would be kind of interesting, at least as a thought exercise of trying to figure out where to sell all these different goods. But I thought it would make for some slightly more interesting watching. Hopefully you guys are finding this conceptually interesting. We've only gone to 2 ports so far, but we're about to hit our 3rd here, which is going to be Bordeaux. And now we're getting some good wind. We can talk a little bit more about the challenge of figuring out how to make this work. Oh, that's a little bit of a problem. It would be a problem if we didn't have just Salim. We don't have enough money to pay crew wages. If I had other crewmen, they would probably ask to leave. I don't know if there's a loyalty stat. It might be hidden. But certainly not paying your crew is a kind of a non-starter. Anyways, this is Bordeaux. We leveled up. That's important for Ali. He is not a great captain at the start of the game, so he needs all the help he can get. We're going to sell our art here. And I was trying to remind myself to keep track, like on a piece of paper or on my phone, as I'm sailing through what the prices I'm getting for things are. One way you can check that, if you don't have that luxury of, you know, paper, or if you just forget, I guess in my case, you can go to your journal, and you can see how much you purchased a certain good for. So I bought 12 lots of carpet for 230. That was in Istanbul. Then in Athens, I bought art for 324. So I'm just going to jot a note. Well, I'll just remember that for now. For this port, I'll jot down what I buy and the price I get it for. Where's the trade office? It's right here. Okay. And 380 for it. A tidy sum. Alright, so now I have to buy a new good, and that is going to be raisins. Raisins are a local specialty. What that means is that this good is either not normally available in this region. All ports are kind of subdivided into regions, so Bordeaux is considered a Northern European port. When we arrive in a port, there's that little gray placard that comes up that describes the name and who it's allied with, but it also says Northern Europe in this case. So this is a Northern European port. I don't think any other Northern European ports really have raisins. There's probably a couple. There's probably one. No, probably not. I take that back. I was thinking that Marseille might have raisins. Marseille is not a Northern European port, though. I can negotiate this now. Now, if I was to do the way that I did it before, it will not work, because I think that the maximum, the minimum that a trade good price can be before Ali can use his negotiation is 40. And if it's below 40, I can only negotiate him down by a single gold piece. So I'm going to ask for 36. And if it's lower than 10, I might not be able to get any. Alright, so we're buying raisins for 36. Let me write that down. Raisins, 36. Just because I like to know, for the purposes of the whole profitability thing, I like to know exactly how much I paid. And while we're here in Bordeaux, we have some money left over, and I'm going to go ahead and remodel my ship. Which seems a bit strange. I don't know much about ships, eh? This old sea dog's navigated the waters for over 40 years. I don't need any advice. I don't need to hear about your 40 years of sailing. Alright, so, remodeling. Since I have the money left, I'm going to go ahead and do this because it's a big advantage. So I'm going to change the load capacity of the ship that I have. You can see that we have 10 out of 30 crew bunks, and then we're using 0 out of 10 of our cannon ports. I don't need any cannons, and I don't need those extra 20 bunks, so I'm going to get rid of them. And it only costs me 240 to do that, so let's just do it. I'm going to say I want 10 bunks, and that's going to increase my capacity by 20, which is significant. And then I'm going to make room for no guns, and that's going to add another 10. So I've just added 30 slots of cargo. That's a big improvement, at least percentage-wise. And it doesn't cost much at all. It's just 240. 240. Alright, so we bought a bunch of raisins. And I have 16 days worth of food and water. I could resupply here. I don't really feel like I need to, so I'm not going to. Our next port is going to be further to the north. We were talking a little bit earlier about specialty goods. So raisins are not sold in Northern European ports, generally speaking, which means that, oh, there's a village. I was checking to see if it was there, but I'm not going to stop there. Which generally means, though, that if a good is not sold in any of the ports that are a part of a region, you're probably going to get a good price for it. That's not always the case, but it can be very handy, though, to find a port like Bordeaux that has a specialty good that you can just take to the next port over and sell for a profit. I could have taken that to Nantes, which is just to the north, and sold it for a profit, I believe. I'm taking it to Oslo here, which is, again, a Northern European port, so the sale price should be roughly the same as in any other Northern European port. That's how sale prices generally work. They are manipulated a little bit by the local economy, though, and I'm going to look at that real quick with you here. If we go to this option here for market rate, it says that the general price index at Oslo is 101%. So prices are 1% above what they should be generally here in the port of Oslo. Now, there could be specific goods in these different categories that have a slightly higher rating. Here in Oslo, I'm going to be buying wood, and I don't know what... Yeah, wood is considered an other, and they sell it here for 99. So what happens, though, when let's actually go to sell our raisins here. So he's going to buy raisins for 49, which is a profit of, or 59, excuse me, which is a profit of 23. That's a good margin, percentage-wise. It's just not a lot of money per lot. But I'll still make money off of it. No big deal. Now, you'll see that this icon to the right that has the coins, it had a number next to it that said 101%, and it's gone down to 99%. So when you sell goods into the economy, you decrease the price of everything. It's trying to mimic the basic ideas of supply and demand. So now I'm going to buy wood here in Oslo. It's that good Norwegian wood. And I'm going to negotiate that down from 98 to 93 apparently. Okay. Excellent. Just jotted a note for myself. And where am I taking it next? Well, I can't fill up my ship with 90 lots of wood, so I'm gonna buy... Let's buy 50, just to be absolutely certain that we have enough to buy a little bit more food and water, because my next destination is a little bit far away. Now, wood sells for a decent price anywhere in Iberia. Iberia is its own trade region and has 4 ports. Not all trade regions are created equally, shall we say. Some of them have quite a few ports, some of them have barely any. Iberia is a good example. It has just the 4. Northern Africa has 4. I don't actually use Northern Africa, the region, for any trading in this route. It's not for any particular reason. I actually could in theory, but I think for convenience sake I didn't. Because it doesn't have many ports that sell much of interest. So like I was saying though, I could sell this in any Iberian port. The problem though is I have to be kind of choosy, because some of those ports might sell something that I need to buy later in a way that makes more sense, just because of the rules of the route. I'm taking this to Barcelona, which is on the east side of the peninsula here. But I could take it to Lisbon and buy something there. I will be using Lisbon in my route later on, but it's just that using these ports, you just have to be selective, because if I take a port out of the list too early, I'm going to possibly lose access to a good that would be more convenient later on. It's kind of complicated. I really don't have an easy time describing the logic of this and like what makes a port good at a certain point in the route. But all I know is that this works, and that's the main thing. All right, so we're here in Barcelona. We have a ship full of wood. I think the idea behind Iberia paying a good price for wood is just that, it's Spain and Portugal. They're building a lot of ships. They're probably going to need a lot of wood. So, anyways, we are going to sell. Oh wait, I'm not in the trade office. I was a little confused. Why is he offering me a new ship or a used ship? I was talking about other stuff. Let's go to the trade office. We bought that for 93, 127. Not that bad. And then here in Barcelona, we're gonna buy rock salt. Now I think that the reason... Right, so I mentioned before I could have taken it to Lisbon. Lisbon's specialty trade good is rock salt. Damn it. But I wanted to trade arms at some point, and Lisbon also has arms. So given 2 ports that have rock salt, Lisbon has another trade good that I need to trade later. So I'm going to save that for later and just get rock salt here. I should be able to haggle them down quite a bit. 49, okay. And we should be able to fill up. We're taking it a little bit far again. The problem with rock salt is that I can't really sell it locally for much of a profit, even though it says it's a specialty good. What that can mean is that it is a good that is normally available in the region, but you're getting it sooner than you normally would. What I mean by that is Barcelona has an economy rating of 590. It could be that rock salt is only available at like 650 or something like that, so it's able to trade it early, and that's what makes it a specialty. I don't know if that's actually how rock salt works in this case, but I'm going to pretend like it is. So, okay, so we're taking this back north. And I already forgot what I bought that for. Probably just as easy to consult my journal. I thought it was 49. Okay. So that's what I was getting at, is that even though I've gone and bought rock salt here, now I have to take it back somewhere else to another region to get a decent profit off of it. And not only do I need to get a decent profit, I need to get a good that I can later sell for a profit again. So you can see how this gets a little bit dicey. But we're sending ourselves back north. Sending ourselves? Sure, why not? Just gonna send it. We're going back north with our ship full of rock salt. Taking it to one of my favorite ports in the game, which is Antwerp. It's just to the right here. Antwerp has phenomenal ships that it can build if you invest in it. I guess I could invest to get access to ships as a part of this route, but there's really no need. The ships that I would be really interested in getting through investment are so expensive that I'm not going to have the money trading on this route to actually get them, so... Alright, so we're going to sell our rock salt. And we're getting 63 for it. We'll sell it all. And now here in Antwerp, I have to buy a new good, and that is going to be wool cloth. Wool cloth is a specialty good, and it is a specialty because it's not actually an automatic... It's not produced anywhere in Northern Europe other than places that have it as a specialty. So that makes it super... Wait a minute, I didn't negotiate that at all. Let's try that one more time. I don't like your offer, sir. 57, that seems a bit high. How about 57? Oh, you're a master negotiator. Alright, we're going to get 54 for it. Perfect. Okay. And that is enough out of that. So that's kind of handy because I can take this to any Northern European port and make a profit, and it just so happens that there is a port that is extremely close by. Oh, I don't have any room. I don't need any room. I'm just going to take it next door to Amsterdam. Lovely. Alright. Sell off our wool cloth. We're going to get 91 for that. That's almost double. That's great. And we've made our first ingot too. We have 10,936. Some people mentioned when they were watching the stream, they didn't understand how the money works. This is just, 936 gold pieces. This is equivalent to 10,000, so 10,936. Just in case you guys were wondering. And here in Amsterdam, glass beads are the specialty good. They're fairly infamous as a specialty good. You can use them to really mess with prices in other ports. That's something we'll talk about later. Actually, we might be talking about that fairly soon, because there's a good coming up that is very difficult to trade for a profit. But we're going to do our best. But we're going to buy iron ore here. And we'll get it for 121. Now I have to leave some space. So I'm going to... Wait, where am I going? Just trying to think here. Let's buy 84. Because I do need to buy a little bit of food and water to get to my next destination, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think Salim is going to go without a wage again. That'll be kind of funny. We'll see how much I end up spending on food and water. Oh, well, we'll have actually plenty of money left over. And we should be able to make that very easily. 13 days is more than enough to reach our next port. We're heading back to Iberia to trade my least favorite trade good on this route. And that is going to be velvet. It is produced here in Iberia. I don't know if it's produced anywhere else. Probably is. I don't care because it's a terrible trade good. It's hard to trade velvet for a profit locally. It's very hard. The only way to really make money off of it is to take it to Asia, and I don't want to do that. So we're here in Seville. We're gonna buy some. We're gonna buy. I forgot to note. Oops, wrong section there. Forgot to note how much I bought my iron ore for. It's 121. But velvet is hard to trade for profit other than going to Asia, and I don't want to do that just yet. I could theoretically do it. I think I have enough money to make the trip, possibly, but it's just really inconvenient. There's no convenient time to really trade velvet. Now, okay, iron ore is going to sell for a pretty fantastic profit here at 193. So let's look at how much velvet costs. Porcelain is the specialty, but I'm not interested in that. Velvet sells for 96. Now, bear in mind that the price is going to go down because I'm going to sell some iron ore. There's ways of dropping the price even more, which I'm not entirely proud of doing. So we saw before that when you sell goods that it does decrease the general price index of the port. Now, there is a certain point where if you trade below, well, I'll just say it, if you trade below 50 lots of a good, you don't really get the maximum amount of decrease in the price that you can get. But if you trade over 50, you basically get the same amount of decrease in the price index. It's a diminishing returns thing. So as I get up to 50, the more and more I trade, the more I sell rather, the more impact it's going to have on the price of everything in the port. After 50, there's basically no difference. I could trade 50 or 100 or 300 or 500. It would still affect prices generally the same. So one way of manipulating that, since 50 is kind of the threshold for that, and I have 84, I can get a little bit more bang for my buck by trading 50, dropping the price index to 96%, and then if I sell another load of 34, and again, I'm still making plenty of money here doing this, I've dropped the price index to 93%. Now, had I sold all of it, I would have only gotten that 196%, or one drop to 96%. So I've gamed the system a little bit here. There's ways that we can ruthlessly manipulate the system with that 50 number that we'll actually be doing later. But I'm doing it here because velvet, again, it's really hard. It's really tough to trade for a profit. I'm going to be able to buy it for 90 without negotiation. I'm going to haggle that down, of course. And that will be 85. That is a little bit cheesy, I'm not going to lie. I'm not terribly proud of myself right now. But you got to do what you got to do. I want 90 lots of velvet. Wait, how much did I... What? Did I just buy 9? What happened there? Or is it just not that expensive? Yeah, it's just not that expensive. That seems like that should have been more. Unless... Oh, well, I made a bunch of money off of the iron ore. That's right. Okay, duly noted. I was just thinking I should have less money. Now, my next destination, I think I'm actually going to have to stop. Stop on the way there. It's a little far, and we discovered that sailing in the Mediterranean is quite slow. I definitely will have to stop somewhere. Just because this is grueling. This is a very slow pace. having my morning coffee, and by morning I mean 7:39 p.m. Just started working night shift, so everything's really weird right now. You drink coffee at 7:30 p.m. What's the big deal? Totally normal. I'm gonna stop in Syracuse. Tunis is just to south there. I haven't discovered it technically, but Syracuse is gonna be on the island of Sicily here. And that should be pretty convenient for us. I'm actually gonna wait until it rolls over to the 10th. Just so that I don't, so that I'll have a little bit more food on the way to Alexandria. The way that food consumption works is, I want to talk about what we're seeing here, but the way that food consumption works is that it ticks down just slightly after midnight. So if you go to a port after midnight, then you won't, let me put it this way. If I had gone into port before midnight, I would have, upon leaving port, used one food, and then once it rolled over to midnight, I would have eaten another food. It's kind of ridiculous, kind of a gamey thing, but I wanted to save a little bit of money and a little bit of time, just because I don't know how long it's going to take me to get to Alexandria. But anyways, we have some guards that are menacingly preventing us from entering the port. No visitors are allowed entrance to this port. Resupply your ship and leave at once. It's because Turkey and Italy are at war at this point in the game, so we are not allowed to enter. We can sneak in, though. Oh, it looks like I picked a good time to resupply. I was out of food and water, and I would have to buy food and water here if I wanted to leave. Salim would not let me leave without food and water. He's sensible, I guess. He's good like that. Alright, so we're going to Alexandria. Ottoman ports will pay a pretty decent price for velvet. It's the only place where you can reasonably rely on getting a profit. I mentioned North Africa is a port or a region in the game. Oh, there's a village. Not gonna bother with that. But Alexandria is considered a part of the Ottoman Empire as opposed to North Africa. I don't know. So I think we had 87 for the velvet. Let's see how much we can get for it. 95. So I would have technically made a profit even had I not done the trade manipulation thing. But this is like about the best I can do with velvet. It's really hard to trade profitably. Like I said, you have to go out of the area to really make any money at it. So here I'm going to be buying cotton cloth, which is fairly cheap according to Salim. And I'm going to negotiate that down to 25. Cotton cloth is much like velvet though, and I can't really trade it for much profit. I'm starting to run out of trade goods in this region that I can trade back and forth within it. Like I can't really go to very many more places within Northern Europe, the Mediterranean, the Ottoman Empire, and trade stuff for a profit. So now I'm going to have to start looking further afield. With that in mind, I'm only going to buy 70 cotton cloth because I'm going to have to leave this area and trade it somewhere where I can get a profit. Where is that going to be? You'll find out in the next episode. Ooh, suspense! I'll see you guys then.